Good morning from the Tippecanoe River. I slept pretty well despite the noisy neighbors, thanks to earplugs. Apparently, they were having some sort of birthday party. I got the bike all packed up and was on the road by 7:30. At first, I thought it was just a foggy morning, but I quickly realized the haze was due to wildfires in Canada. It's pretty eerie to see the sun as a red orb at any time other than sunrise or sunset. Here's one of those crop circle machines that are so prevalent further west, and I got to start the day with a field full of sunflowers.
Welcome to Illinois. Finally out of Indiana, and it's a million straight roads.
Spoiler alert, Illinois isn't too much better. At least not the roads that I was on. I was greeted by the Ford Model A welcoming committee. I'm pretty sure they do that for everyone who enters the state. I passed through the town of Kankakee on the Kankakee River in Kankakee County. The name is an evolution of the Potawatomi word for the river here. The town has been here since 1854. Not far to the west is Dwight. I should have done my research because I missed an 1891 train station and a bank designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. What I did manage to find was Ambler's Texaco gas station on Route 66. It was built in 1933 and now serves as a Route 66 welcome center. These early gas stations were designed to look like other houses in the neighborhood to avoid negative attention. I was an hour too early for a proper visit, but I got a look in the windows at the last gas pumps in service here and an old fire truck. I love the aesthetic of the old gas pumps. Someone should make modern pumps look this good. Are you listening, Sinclair? Now I'm gonna hop on Route 66 for a whopping 9 miles. You can just make out the original pavement to the left of the road. Old 66 is now relegated to a frontage road for the much larger Route 55 here. I followed the 66 logos to the main street of Gardner. This sleepy little town certainly embraces the Route 66 legend. It is what brought me here after all, isn't it? It's still a bit early on a Sunday morning to visit any businesses. Luckily, they have lots of fun signs on the outside.
Burma Shave.
I first learned of Burma Shave from the film The World's Fastest Indian. If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. Burma Shave gained popularity for displaying sequential billboards with silly rhymes on them. The wolf is shaved, so neat and trim, Red Riding Hood is chasing him. Burma Shave. This successful ad campaign made them a household name.
Here we have the 2-cell jail.
Welcome to Gardner, Illinois. We're happy that you've taken the time to visit and explore these unique and one-of-a-kind pieces of Route 66 folklore. You're now at the historic 1906 2-cell jail. Legend has it that this jail never held any dangerous desperados. It was used mainly to control hobos and vagrants, especially during the 1930s Depression era.
Very nice.
We hear that hobos would hop off the trains and wander around town seeking out food and work. This was acceptable in those days. Folks wanted them safely locked up at night. Be sure to stroll over to explore our other fascinating historic structure. This original 1800s horse-drawn streetcar was used as a diner on Route 66 from 1932 to 1939. This piece of Gardner history has been moved to this location so that you can experience what it was like to travel and eat in the early days of Route 66.
Keeping well clear of Chicago, I crossed the Illinois River in Morris. Don't do it. That'll get your attention. The fuel gauge is funny on the Tenere 700. 20 minutes to go from half a tank to reserve. I fixed my fuel problem at a very busy gas station.
Oh, you went in the wrong way, you dickhead.
Poorly laid out as well, I see. At least it was an eventful fuel stop. It's amazing how close those crop dusters fly to the power lines. Now that I got my sightseeing out of the way, it was time to scoot boots to my uncle's house in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, which turned out to be a good bit further north than it looked on the map. Welcome to Wisconsin, home of beer, cheese, and Harley-Davidson, and a terrifying badger mascot, and automotive trends from the early 2000s. The Tenere is more than happy to cruise along at 80 or so, but as soon as there is much turbulence from lots of other cars or crosswinds, it gets much more tiring. Today I got quite a bit of both. I had seen signs for the Mouse House on the highway, and my curiosity got the better of me. I wanted to get some cheese curds, but all the packages were huge and I didn't think they would travel very well without a cooler, so I left empty-handed. I had been seeing loads and loads of Harleys traveling south when coming up through Illinois. I later found out that Harley had its 120th anniversary celebration this weekend, and now that it's Sunday, everyone's on their way home. Those baggers look pretty comfy right about now. The Googles saw a long accident slowdown on the highway and put me on some much appreciated 2-lane roads for a little bit. You can see I'm not the only one taking this detour. I feel like they are trying to tell me something. Aliens? Sasquatch? Look at these dense forests. It's definitely Sasquatch. It was exciting to see some elevation change after passing through the flat plains of Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois. This part of Wisconsin is full of beautiful rolling hills. I saw some smoke up ahead, so I turned the camera on. It was a small grass fire. Fires have been more evident in my East Coast world this year than I can remember. I ran across a 6,000-acre, 3-day-old fire in the Pine Barrens, and smoke from Canadian wildfires has blanketed large portions of the country. I rode 505 miles today, and you can see I wanted nothing to do with Chicago. My GoPro battery died just after the brush fire, but I made it to my uncle's house just fine. He made me a great home-cooked dinner, which is always such a treat on a moto road trip, and then we visited the local brewery on the Chippewa River. I was pretty worn out, so it wasn't a very late night.
There he goes.
Good morning from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I had a great stay with my uncle, but the road was calling. That sign isn't gonna stop me. Or that one. And definitely not this one. Who can resist a gravel road right in the middle of suburbia? Before too long, I was out of the city and into the countryside. I spent the morning riding through beautiful, hilly farmland. I'm so happy to be off the interstate, without a concrete plan other than to get to the other end of Iowa. I saw a very squiggly line on the GPS off of my route, but when I saw that it was dirt, I had to check it out. And I'm so glad I did. That's a good sign. There's definitely very good riding to be had along the southeast border of Wisconsin. Route 25 here is a 2-mile-long causeway through the marshes, and it leads into the bridge going over the Mississippi River. Welcome to Minnesota and the town of Wabasha. I traveled along the Mississippi River for about 10 miles before finding myself on gravel roads again. This road goes through the Whitewater Wildlife Management Area, which consists of a series of marshes along the Whitewater River. Steep foothills rise up on either side of the marshes. This road continues for 49 more miles, but it isn't gravel the whole way. Up on top of the plateau, it's all farmland again. I found my way to a road following a ravine. This was such a fun road to ride. The grip was fairly low, but pretty consistent. And we're back to the giant fields again. I've been trying to find as many little river roads as I can, but there's only so much you can do. These old farmsteads are pretty to look at. But this valley is really what I'm after. I found more ravine roads, but this one had a strange surface. The reason was quickly apparent. Now to ride through the mushy dirt and squeak past. But now the pile of mushy dirt is on the right side, which is not confidence-inspiring, considering how narrow this road is. The road led to the village of Peterson, which was settled in the 1850s by Peter Peterson Hasselrud. I guess I can see why they chose Peterson as the name. This old rail station is now a museum, but I was too early again. South of town, there was a dirt road following the Root River. Around here, they spray something on the gravel to make it less dusty around the houses. Not sure what that is, though. I've read that some areas use soybean oil for dust control, and they sure grow enough soybeans around here. Here's my first good look at the Root River. Another day, another cool old service station. Ernie's Station in Wayland, Minnesota is from 1917. It's so great to see places like this just open to the public. I got some fuel at a functioning gas station and continued on my way. Here's Main Avenue in Harmony, the biggest little town in southern Minnesota, or so they say. The movie theater on the left started as a butcher shop in 1879 and has been a drugstore, tinner, harness shop, barber shop, and a bowling alley. You can make pretty good time on these gravel roads. Just watch out for the four-legged forms of transportation. There's a large Amish population around here, which explains the horse tied up at the schoolhouse. At least I think that's what it is. You have Minnesota on the right side of the road, and Iowa on the left. Minnesota, Iowa. Any questions? No? Good. I've been riding along the border for a little bit, but now I can say welcome to Iowa, the Hawkeye state, land of corn, soybeans, and many, many wind turbines. Check out these Amish handmade hay piles. That thing is a monster. Here is St. Ansgar, the town where my mom grew up.
How's this for small town lore? The albino deer.
This deer lived near the town for 8.5 years and was seen regularly by my grandmother in her house on the edge of town. I saw these photos on the wall at my other uncle's house in Michigan on the way home. The plaque assures us that she died of pneumonia, kidney failure, and old age. I got a BLT at Paradise Pizza and found a state park in Nebraska that looked promising. I think these donkeys don't like motorbikes very much. I had initially planned to take as many gravel roads across Iowa as I could, but the arrow straight, loose pea gravel roads quickly lost their charm. Wind turbines as far as the eye can see. That is an awfully big church for a town of less than 1,000 people. It's about time for fuel again in Bancroft, Iowa. I must say, I'm pretty partial to the dinosaur of the Sinclair fuel station. But what the hell does this all mean? It really looks like I'll fit under that, and it's really tempting to try. But if it goes wrong, it's gonna be a really bad day. The clouds are just endless. I routed onto Route 60 because it was one of the only roads in this part of the state not aligned with the cardinal directions. And I got to race a train as a bonus. Victory is mine. These grain silos in Hinton, Iowa are absolutely enormous. Here are a couple full-size locomotives for scale. I'm surrounded by rolling hills again. This must mean I'm near the Missouri River. Well, you can't see it, but here's the Missouri River. And welcome to Nebraska. Oh, there it is. I am now near the path of the Lewis and Clark journey. Neat. Just across the road is Siouxland Ethanol. Corn comes in, ethanol goes out. Fuel mileage suffers. I just found an awesome campsite. Come on, come on. What the gorilla? What? I've found a spot in Ponca State Park. The road to the campsite was a super fun, twisty road. And the fact that this side of the park was deserted made it even better.
Check this out.
I have a fire ring, picnic table, my tent's all set up, but look at this view of the Missouri River. Just awesome. Well, time to make some dinner and eat some snacks and relax. I'm pretty sure that airplane is below me. I rode 475 miles today. Iowa was less fun than I was hoping it would be, but Wisconsin and Minnesota were so beautiful near the Mississippi River. If you're still here, thanks for coming along, and stay tuned for my journey into the Great Plains.